Hello, YouTube Collective. So, today we're going to be asking, what's the tea? I've got a new deck if you can't tell. I'm going to ask, what's the tea? That's the name of the deck if you haven't gathered that. I'm going to ask about what's going on for people who are in a third party situation. So, for those of you that have got a twin flame, divine counterpart, high level soulmate, person of interest who is in another partnership, maybe they're married and it's not working out, or maybe they're with someone else. Like, it could even be someone who you've already been with and they've moved on. But the main gist of it, like the main gist of this reading, is to get to the nitty gritty and find out what is going on for people who are in a relationship or a connection with someone who is in a commitment to someone else. So it's a committed relationship. They're in a commitment with someone other than you, but you still got connection. Maybe you're still messaging, maybe still talking, that kind of thing. You've still got something going on with them. They're still showing interest in you. That's who we're targeting for this reading. So let's see. I'm going to ask first of all, how we're going to call them the karmic, because more often than not they are karmic. So how is the karmic feeling about this situation? How are they feeling about your person, who we're going to call the counterpart? How are they feeling about the counterpart? How is the karmic feeling about the counterpart? How are they feeling about the counterpart? So we're just getting a few. We've got a few already. I just want a couple more before I really get into the reading, just so we can get a very clear picture. One more, just one more. And then we'll start. Oh, I've got two more. Okay. So, let's start. We've got reflecting. We have got shine. Their light, so your light irritates their demons. I feel like straight away in the energy, this is already talking about them being aware of you. Your light irritates their demons. So they have an awareness of you. Now, that might be something that you already know, like you might have already kind of realised that, or had something happen that's made you see that. And if that's news to you, I feel like they are watching you a lot on social media. They are, thinking about you a lot. Just really, really, like you live rent free in their head. Like, they are quite obsessed when it comes to you. And what's interesting is the next card we've got is Stalker. Stalking, watching, obsessed. Like, they are on your page. They are up in your grill. They are checking you out. They are seeing what's going on. They are literally thinking about you constantly. And obviously, bear in mind, this is the karmic partner. So, not your counterpart, the karmic. They are, like, really, really trying to focus all their energy on you. And it could be for a takedown. So it could be that, they are being disparaging about you and rude. It could be that they are kind of sitting, looking at your pictures on Instagram. I really get the vibe that they are actually trying to mimic you in certain ways. So, I think, especially because of the counterpart has clear interest in you, and they are clearly not interested in the karmic. The karmic might be trying to look at what you're wearing, what's she wearing, how can I dress like her, how can I be more appealing to the counterpart, how can I keep this person in my life. We've got haunted, memories, flashbacks, trauma, side effects. Obviously this is a side effect of the way that their relationship is going downhill. It's not, it's unhealed. It's an unhealed response. It's a bit of a toxic response, but it is ultimately because they don't feel like they've been treated right in this relationship. And, you know, I think that's a fair perspective. Like, they probably haven't, but you have to wonder as well what they are doing to, like, help themselves in this situation. And I feel like a lot of them are focused on trying to either blackmail the counterpart into staying, or use manipulation tactics, or, like, make him feel like, I'm saying him, it could be a her, like, you know, take what resonates, make the counterpart feel like they are in love with the karmic again, you know, maybe try and seduce them a little bit by dressing more like you. They are often, you know, not the nicest to the cat, like to their counterpart, or to your counterpart, should I say. Like, they're not the nicest. Like, I feel like they often kind of make them feel a little bit like the bad guy, even though at times it takes two to tango. You know, there's an energy of this person isn't the best person to deal with in a relationship. Like, maybe they have got some toxic habits. And then we've also got marrying for money. So the thing is, this person, this karmic, wants to keep the counterpart because there's a influence of money and stability. They want to keep part of the lifestyle. Like, they don't want the lifestyle to change. They might not want to be a single parent. They might not want to go out for themselves. Like, they want to stay in this relationship for the money. And it might not necessarily be for the money, but it's for the stability. It's for the stability. They are deliberately trying to keep this person attached to them so that they can benefit financially. But I also feel like what Spirit's telling me right now is that two things, that they also want to keep them married to him to punish this person for what they've done to them. So it's a bit of vindictiveness as well. Like, they don't want to see the counterpart go from their relationship or marriage and running into your arms. Like, they don't want to see them in a relationship with you. Like, they do not want to be on their own and made to look a fool by the counterpart and then see them running off to you. Like, they will not tolerate that. Even if they have at times behaved pretty disgustingly themselves, they don't want to see you happy or the counterpart happy before they are happy with somebody else. We've got creeping, which is interesting because I do feel like this is to do with your counterpart. Like, it's got two energies. So it's got an energy of them knowing that your counterpart is kind of creeping around behind the backs, and knowing that your counterpart is probably looking at your social medias also, or texting you, messaging you, phoning you, having communications with you. Like, but it's also them sort of spying on the counterpart. Like, they are like watching what they're doing to try and get more information, to try and use things like to hold things over their heads and to blackmail them. And it's really interesting as well because we've also got photo proof, getting evidence. Like, I haven't looked at any of these cards before I've put them down. Like, we've got getting evidence. They are keeping receipts. They have got evidence. They have got photo proof of stuff. They have got solid, hard evidence against the counterpart that they are using, either to manipulate, to blackmail, or to gain the upper hand in some way. It could even be in, like, you know, if they're married and they need to get a divorce and need to go through a settlement, like, it could be even used in a way to gain more financial, like, to gain more finances or more kind of a bigger payout in the divorce settlement. Like, they're basically just blackmailing the counterpart. We've got moving on. Thank you, next. That's what it says at the bottom. They do not want to be here, really. Like, a lot of what it is they they want to punish the person. They want to keep their lifestyle and stability. They don't want to see the counterpart run off into the sunset with you. They want to be the first one to move on. They want to be the first one out of the relationship. They want to be the one to end it. They want to have the power. They want to be the one to move on with somebody else first because they feel like they've been mistreated here. And then we've got always partying, which is interesting because I don't get this impression from the energy that this is somebody who's going out a lot and partying. but it could be somebody who's maybe drinking. Like, you know, maybe they are relying on alcohol to kind of get them through some stuff. But I also feel like it could have an energy of potentially just, you know, like if you go into a party, you kind of like have that sassy energy, that like you're ready to get out there and mingle and have a good time and stuff. It's like they are a little bit smug and in that energy because they know that, or they feel they've got the upper hand in some ways. They've got tricks up the sleeve. Like, I do think that the person who is trying to leave this relationship has got to kind of be careful here. And I'm hearing from Spirit due diligence as well. So that's very interesting. Let's see what the counterpart is feeling towards the karmic. What does the counterpart feel towards the karmic? Oh, goodness me. We're getting some cards here. Right, okay. Right. I'm just going to get a couple more. There's some on the floor. Oh! Sorry, I've just seen one that's like turned upside down and it's kind of funny the way it was, the energy that was coming off it straight away. Right, okay, so anything else before we get on to this portion of the reading? Right, we've got a couple more. Right, okay. Let's go. So, first of all, we've got dodging bullets. I just love that card. I think it's really funny. Blocking negativity, escaping crazy people, protected by haters. Like, this is somebody who has realised that the person that they are connected to, i.e. the karmic, is a crazy biatch. Like, they are kind of like, well, do you know what, right? I am actually dodging a bullet by getting out of this relationship because, honestly, this person's crazy. We've got reflecting. We've got clout hungry. Says anything, does anything, makes shit up, dramatic. Like, could that be any more kind of, like, telling about who their karmic is and, you know, what kind of person they are realistically? Like, they are dramatic, they are liars, they do not care. Like, they don't care. They're just kind of like, they just want to cause a scene, make trouble for the counterpart, and the counterpart is like, I will absolutely be dodging a bullet when I get out of this relationship. We've got child services, kids at risk of being taken. I don't think that's the case. Like, I feel like this is more of a masculine perspective on a feminine threat. That's the vibe I'm getting. Like, I get the feeling that potentially the counterpart could be worrying that the karmic would threaten, like, not to let the counterpart have access to children if there's children involved, or they would threaten child services helping with kind of what's the word I'm looking for, you know, when you go to like an agreed destination to have visitation. So like you have like proper specified visitation access to your child, like at times even in a centre, because sometimes, especially with connections that go really, really wrong, or, you know, where there's kind of spirit saying bullying involved, I feel like this karmic is just going nuts, and they are just saying like, do you know what, you'll be seeing your kid in a centre, you won't be seeing them at home, you won't be having access to me, I will not be like talking to you, you'll have to go through a mediator. Like, they are threatening this because they are so angry, and they're just basically trying to, spirit saying control, they're trying to control the situation, they're trying to control the counterpart, and by saying you'll have to have obstacles in your way when it comes to seeing your child because I won't be answering the door to you, that is creating a reason for the person, you know, to stay, because they're like, well, they're going to make my life so much harder just to see my child, you know, the person that I wake up next to, or the person that I see every day. Like, they're going to make it really hard for me to have access to someone I naturally have access to every single day. So that in itself is causing a huge amount of problems in terms of them leaving. Like, and the thing is, it is one of these things because more often than not, these these things are just threats. They don't come off. And, you know, would the karmic really want to do that themselves? Like, would they really want to go through a centre? No, they're probably just saying it because they're angry. But because a lot of men especially do get discriminated against at times when it comes to child access, like, it's a real threat. It's a real worry. And I think, you know, it is something that this particular counterpart is fearful of. I feel like as well it could be like something as well that kind of dies down with time. So, you know, with time they would probably see that it's never going to happen. Like the karmic would never pull this off. They would never go through with it. It would be too much effort, and they would in time become less angry anyway. But it's just a threat. It's something. It's a wild threat that they're throwing out there to kind of gain control and to gain the upper hand again. We've got bad karma. They realise that this person is a negative source of energy. They are like, this is a bad karmic lesson that I am in with this person. Like, they realise that this person is not frigging nice at all. They realise that this person is going to receive a huge amount of karma when they do get removed from their lives. It's quite disturbing actually to witness this person's, the karmics, unraveling. Like, I think that's like their perspective. They are absolutely unraveling over this. But what it boils down to is jealousy. This person's very, very jealous. The karmic's very, very jealous. They're very, very jealous of what's happened. They're very, very jealous of you. They're very, very jealous of the situation. They don't even really want their counterpart anymore. Like, they don't really have that love for them they used to. It's not a nice relationship. It's a toxic one. It's absolutely like beyond me as to why they are trying to keep themselves suspended in this horrible connection, because the energy is whack, rather than moving on and being happy. But, you know, that's what's going on. We've got love on the brain. So I do think that your counterpart is thinking about you during these times, and they are kind of very wistful. They are like, do you know what, like, fantasizing, daydreaming. That is helping them get through. That's helping them get through this really difficult situation, like a bit of escapism. But I'm also getting, we've got nostalgia, which is telling me that they are probably thinking back to times when they did have a bit of a happier relationship. And it is like, well, this is, you know, this is really quite, not necessarily in a way that's like wishing they had that still with the karmic, but more in a way that, how has it got so bad and I'm still here? Like, it's reflecting. We've got bankrupt. We've got marrying for money. We've got broke ass. How, like, I mean, that summarises yet again, more threats that we've got being exposed. Because, you know, this is obviously, money is a big thing here. And it definitely came through with the karmics kind of portion of the reading, that they are like absolutely trying to get more money out of this person. And it's like, this person's cautious of it because it could mean that they end up broke. It could mean that they lose everything. And I don't really feel like, I feel like this person just really wants to be out of the situation. But we're talking about ruining somebody financially. Like, I do feel like it could be somebody who's got, they've built something. Like, it could be that they've got they've got like their own home, and the karmic's threatening to take it all. It could be a business. It could be, I'm hearing property. Like, I do think that they've got something, and the karmic is like, well, I will literally take you for every penny you've got because you've had an affair or you've done this. I've got evidence. Like, I've got this. Like, they are fearful that they're not going to end up with anything. And the final card that we got that I actually laughed at is creeping in reverse. So the counterpart is very well aware that their karmic is sneaking around, spying on them. So it's funny because I'm getting a real complete narrative with this, and the karmic is like actively like creeping around the house, sneaking up on them, like rifling through drawers. They've got, I do feel like for some counterparts have hidden stuff away and like actually locked things in boxes because of this behaviour, because they know that the karmics, if they're out of the house, the karmic's rifling through the stuff all the time, and they're like, they can't trust that they can leave stuff lying around in their own home, or they're keeping stuff in another like place somewhere else, separate from the property they share together, to hide it, because they're kind of like, well, this karmic's like just looking through my things all the time. Like, they can't leave the phone around. I feel like they've had to pin all of the equipment and password protect it and stuff, like, so that the karmic can't get their hands on things. Like, it's really like quite dodgy. And with the creeping being in reverse, this is showing me that this person is very well aware of what they're doing. They've probably had conversations about it. I feel like this person, the counterpart, has said to the karmic, why are you doing this? Like, it's really weird behaviour. Like, you're weirding me out. Can you stop creeping around? Why are you sneaking up behind me and looking over my shoulder while I'm texting? Like, stuff like that. Like, weird behaviour, weird energy. Like, you're creeping up on me. Deliberately, like, as well, strangely, I'm getting like deliberately jump scaring the counterpart. Like, that's a weird one. That could be one that's like specific to somebody. Like, it feels like a karmic that's like getting a bit of a thrill out of it, like seeing that's a weird energy. That's a very bizarre energy. But yeah, I'm getting maybe even like jumping out and scaring, sometimes deliberately for some, I feel, but for others maybe not so deliberately. But yeah, they are just like, and I'm hearing my possessions. Like, there's been an argument, and the counterpart has said, these are my possessions. Stop touching them. Stop rifling through my stuff. Stop searching for something. Like, you're not going to find it because I don't trust you. So I do feel like they've actually admitted to hiding stuff, because they're trying to show the karmic that their behaviour is weird, and that they've had to take different measures to ensure that they have their property kept safe. So it could even be for some that they've been damaged onto some property. I do get the vibe that out of spite at times these karmics may have even damaged property. It's quite strange. But yeah, with being in reverse, I do think that the counterpart's like quite sick of it. They're quite sick of it. They're on high alert. I feel like when the counterpart is like deliberately kind of like watching, spirit saying, watching what they're doing, and like, why, like, what are you doing now? Like, it's just a weird, very much toxic atmosphere. So yeah, what a strange energy. But I do hope that you guys have enjoyed this reading. You know, if it resonates for you, I apologise, because wow. And you know, please do like, subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.